This is an interesting email I got from Ross. Ross wrote to me and he said, I've been watching the Chris Dorner thing, the former LAPD officer who is presumed dead. We are awaiting confirmation, at last I heard, in the cabin in the woods in California. And Iraq. Let's look at the similarities between Christopher Dorner and Iraq. And at first I said, well, I don't know that I see that. And here's Ross's message. David, can you offer your thoughts on comparing what Chris Dorner has done to something like America going into the Iraq War? A wrongdoing to both Dorner and America is what motivated them initially. Both have an aim where the means does not justify the ends. Both have taken aim at people or groups not involved in the original atrocity, and both have used violence to achieve a goal. I can't help notice the irony. What do you think? This is pretty interesting, I must say. Misplaced anger and desperation for resolution led to violence against the wrong people. In the case of Christopher Dorner, he was angry about his treatment by certain LAPD officers and higher-ups years ago, and he did violence against other individuals not directly involved in that wrongdoing. With Iraq, the United States went into Iraq in part fueled by the connection, the perceived connection, the erroneous connection between the 9/11 attacks and Saddam Hussein, eventually proven to be false. Violence was done against many, many people who were not perpetrators of that. There is a similar thread in there, isn't there, Lewis?
Yes, but I think obviously scale is a bit different here, and I think a lot of people have the right to be angry that they were intentionally misled by by our government when it comes to the Iraq War. But yeah, I mean, if you put aside scale, the similarities they're there.
Natan, any other differences other than scale that you see between the two situations where they may or may not be analogous? Now, some would say, well, Christopher Dorner was clearly mentally ill, whereas the people in charge of the U.S. government weren't. But a lot of people would argue that actually there's definitely some questionable mental abilities going on with some of those people making the decision.
Well, one thing is that Christopher Dorner did something that's illegal, and for U.S. law, I mean, the Congress passed an authorization for the government to go into Iraq. You can say it's a violation of international law or a violation of moral law, but it's certainly legal.
It stopped. Well, you know what? I think if Christopher Dorner could have passed a law right before doing this that would have made it legal to do it, he would have, which is essentially what the U.S. government did.
Well, no, it's perfectly legal in our system to authorize the president to go into a country and do whatever he wants. You can say it's wrong. You can say that they were misled. And that's a totally valid point. But I'm just saying it's not the same as a lone gunman, not in the context of a country or an institution that's democratically elected doing it.
It feels like Dorner is more...
like a lone country going on a rampage.
Well, that's the thing. It feels like, at face value, Dorner is more taking this into his own hands. But in a way, the U.S. did go into Iraq in spite of, they had this coalition of the willing or whatever it was, which quickly fell apart because it was all based on faulty information. But in a sense, there's kind of a similarity there too, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there is.
I just don't know where this gets us. Where does it get us to make this comparison?
It's just interesting to think about.
It's just interesting to think about, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you, Natan. Thank you.